Coming up, a segment from KTWU, your source for public television. Afterwards, don't forget to visit ktwu.org to make a pledge to help make more local programming like this.
The subject of public funding of the arts has generated a lot of attention recently. In our next story, we see what prompted a large vociferous crowd to gather here on a cold winter day in this plaza across from the state capitol building. In February of 2011, a group of concerned citizens rallied across from the state capitol to voice their opposition to a reorganization order issued by Governor Sam Brownback. In one of his first acts as governor, he used his executive powers to initiate the abolition of the Kansas Arts Commission, seeking to replace it with a private foundation whose members would be appointed by the governor. The person who had been serving as the chair of the Arts Commission, Henry Schwaller of Hayes, was among those who expressed concern about the change.
What's at stake here is $1.1 million. The governor's executive reorder will take away the Kansas Arts Commission, replace it with an entity that raises money privately. We know how difficult and unsuccessful that will be. Also, it will prevent us from receiving money from the federal government. That money goes to over 150 arts organizations across Kansas. It goes to artists. It goes to programs to help school children. It goes to professional development. It's the very fabric of every community in this state, both rural and urban, in every four corner of this state. So as Senator Wright said, our marching orders here... These works now...
Artists, educators, and patrons of the art from across the state came together a few weeks later at Washburn University in Topeka as the Kansas Arts Commission proceeded with its annual awards event. Several of those honored expressed concern about the future of the arts in Kansas.
The state of arts in our beloved state is in jeopardy. It is often argued that wasteful spending of today is passed down to our children. The same argument can be made that cutting the arts funding of today robs the future generations of inspiration.
Following comments by landscape artist Louis Kopp, the noted author of detective mysteries, Sarah Paretsky, expressed her thoughts about the role that literary artists play in our society.
What do our artists have to say that merits public support? Only a word that sustains life, that sustains hope. If we end support for the arts, we cut off a lifeline for our citizens.
An organization called Kansas Citizens for the Arts has become more active as the debate over public funding has come to the fore. While maintaining a connection to the Kansas Arts Commission, Henry Schwaller has also become active with this group.
I still serve as a commissioner on the Kansas Arts Commission, although I am no longer chair, and have joined the board of Kansas Citizens. And our goal was to see and determine the level of popular support in the state for funding for the arts. And we were able to demonstrate that there was and is, and we're able to overturn the governor's executive reorganization order in the Kansas Senate on March 16th.
Although Governor Brownback maintained that he supports the arts and wants them to flourish, he subsequently applied a line-item veto to all the state funds allocated to the Arts Commission, noting that he does not view support of the arts as a core function of government. This veto did not eliminate the Arts Commission, however, which continues to exist under the leadership of a new chairperson and several new board members. As its future is up in the air, it may be instructive to look at its past. Why was it formed in the first place? One answer to that question can be found in an interview, taped before his death, with former Governor Bill Avery. He occupied the governor's office in 1966, when the Kansas Arts Commission was born.
I knew a lot about farming, but I didn't know very much about arts. But I had been around enough that I could see that there was a rather significant proportion of Kansans that had appreciation of certain aspects of the art field. And so I think I made the statement that Kansas was 100 years old by now, and we had overcome the frontier status, and it was time to give some consideration to culture. So I proposed this, and it surprised me, nobody opposed it.
When I came on the Arts Commission, the budget was approximately $800,000 from the state, with another $800,000 from the National Endowment for the Arts. The state then received another $400,000 that was not touched by the Arts Commission from the Mid-America Arts Alliance. It went directly to communities and community organizations. At that time, the Kansas Arts Commission provided technical support, professional development, and grants to local arts organizations and artists, approximately 190 in total. We did not pay for or buy art. We were not involved in any transactions. We helped communities develop broad-based arts organizations that do a lot of different things. In some communities, they are community centers, or they offer painting classes, or they offer youth education, or maybe arts and education where students in a community get to see a theater production. So the kinds of things that we sponsored were very broad, and they were tailored to each community. We merely provided the support in terms of both dollars and then the professional development that I talked about that was so important to local arts organizations.
While Governor Brownback's veto eliminated state funding for the Arts Commission, he expressed optimism that federal funds could still be secured. Citing a lack of clarity in the relationship between the Arts Commission and the newly created Kansas Arts Foundation, however, the National Endowment for the Arts determined that Kansas would not be eligible for its grants.
The governor created the Kansas Arts Foundation in early February of this year, and its original purpose was to replace the Kansas Arts Commission. Then when the legislature struck down the concept of having the Kansas Arts Foundation take over the role, we now are left with two organizations, the Kansas Arts Commission, which is recognized in state statute, and the Kansas Arts Foundation that was created by the governor and similar supporters that want a nonprofit entity to raise money. One of the reasons we did not receive federal funding from the National Endowment for the Arts is that it's a very confusing mechanism that cannot be explained very easily. And so because of the confusion, the NEA said we choose not to participate.
Some are questioning the existence of the NEA itself, as the national debate over public funding of the arts continues.
This is a very difficult time, both nationally and statewide, and I think that this is something that we'll probably be studying and looking at for a number of years.